I mean, one update from my side is the migration tool. I mean, used to move the data from Mifos to Mifos X. Now the saving part is also available, but not yet made an official release. But already the code is available in the Git repository.
Okay.
At this Ashok here. I'm working on fixing few of the issues on fixed deposit and recurring deposit, and along with that, we are adding mandatory savings. We are extending the RD product and implementing the mandatory savings on top of that.
Okay. Thanks, Ashok.
Pramod, I'm about to work on disbursing loan amount to a savings account. That is the feature I'm about to start. It will be done by next week.
Is that more the standing orders where it would automate it, Pramod? So.
Yeah, when you disburse a loan, automatically, like we'll link a savings account and we'll disburse that amount to savings. I mean, we'll deposit it to savings account.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. In Madhukar, were there any other UI level or other issues or stuff you've been working on development-wise you'd like to share?
Now we are planning, as we are updating to Bootstrap 3, now we are updating like all alignment issues like font, all the other screens we are updated. Almost all screens are ready. Maybe probably in the next release, everything will be updated properly for community app side.
Okay, thanks, Madhukar. So bear with me one moment. I'm just bringing up one page. So I'll just share my I'll just send a link to the chat. So. Okay. So as you saw on the mailing list, this year we're participating in Google Summer of Code once again, and then we've accepted 7 students who will be working with us throughout the summer and hopefully far into the future as contributors to our project as well. But these 7 interns, they put in a lot of effort both in their applications but also making substantial contributions to the community over the past couple months to get accepted as interns. And their coding period will begin in just under a month. So I think May 19th is the date the actual coding will start. And then for approximately 3 months, they'll be fully dedicated on various projects working under the mentorship of other community members. So I just quickly wanted to, note who the students were and what projects they'll be working on. And then, like I said, when the coding's actually beginning, we'll do a more formal introduction, and then throughout the summer, as the students are working on their projects, they'll be discussing what they're working on here and also showcasing what they're working on. So I'm just going in the order. I have the students listed on the table on the wiki. So one of the students that will be working with us is Dianyug from he's from Sri Lanka. And he's going to be working on extending our Excel-based data import tool. And Nayan, at this point, is likely going to be his primary mentor. And then our second intern is Gaurav, and he's going to be working on a set of optimizations to our AngularJS community app. And he might also take on extending the community app to be a cross-platform, hybrid native type mobile app. But the first part of his focus on the summer, we're rescoping to be just optimizations in general to the community app, because we have a lot of these outstanding, and Gaurav would be well suited for this. And Kojo, a mentor originally from Ghana who's now based in the Seattle area, will be his mentor. And then Rishab, also from India, He's going to be working on a notifications framework, so being able to have actionable notifications, alerts, and system updates in the platform and displayed through the UI. And he's going to be working under Aniruddha, most likely as the primary mentor. We've had some shuffling in the mentors, and we're just working out the final allocations there. And then Ishan, who's on the call, he's going to be working on our native Android app with a focus on some of the scheduling for field officers and whatnot. And then Vishwas is going to be his primary mentor, but he'll also be working closely with Nayan and Aniruddha as well. And then Ishan will be talking more about his project later today, and he's from India too. And then Chana is also another student from Sri Lanka. He'll be working under the mentorship of Sandar from Musoni, and the project he'll be focused on is the Client Impact Portal, so extending version 1 of this and building out more visualizations and pulling in more data for this portal that's an external. It allows external stakeholders to have a view into the social and financial impact data around each client that's captured in Mifos X. And then Oleg, who's also on the call today, he's one of our interns from Georgia, and I haven't updated the table yet here, but his primary mentor will be Nick from Georgia as well, and then Aniruddha will likely be his backup mentor, and then Oleg is going to be focused on creating this drag and drop reporting tool, most likely built out in Pentaho to provide greater ease of use for management and other staff in creating their own reports on the fly from Mifos X. And then our final intern that we've accepted is Antonio. He's a graduate student out of DePaul in the US, and he's going to be working under James Daly in building out a module to track pay-as-you-go solar systems. So it'll be an interesting project that gives us entryway into clean energy. So if anybody has any questions about any of these projects or would like to say anything specific to any of the interns that are on the call today, feel free to share that now. Okay. So our students, they're completing a little questionnaire to tell us more about themselves, and then we'll be posting the responses to that along with photos of each of them to our blog in the next week or so. And right now during this, what Google calls it, the bonding period, the students will just be getting to know their mentors, and then we'll also be refining the scope and plans for their projects to make sure they have their project that'll be approachable throughout the summer. So we're very excited to be participating in Google Summer of Code again and have such a large and talented pool of students that we're working with. And I'm glad that both Oleg and Ishan were able to make today's call. So I didn't have anything else in the agenda beyond allowing Ishan and Nayan to share a bit about what's happening with development around the Mifos X native Android app or client. So I'll let Nayan and Ishan provide more background, but just to give a little bit of history, we've had on Mifos X, so on our legacy software, Mifos 2.x, we had an Android app that was built out, and then from the get-go, we've known with the new Mifos X platform that we wanted to have an Android app in place, and that it would be more simple to do it this time around since everything's exposed in the platform through the API. But up until this point, the only work that's happened has been various like proof of concepts or one-offs that occurred at hackathons. And so Aniruddha took a crack at a native Android app, and then Ishan took over work there and started building out a good foundation of an app. And then we brought on, just for a short amount of time, senior mobile architect, Satya, who's not on the call today, but he's just been reviewing our existing code and then making some recommendations and helping to ensure we've got the proper architecture for what we need to do around offline data with the native client security as well. And then Ishan's going to be the lead working on this development throughout the summer. So we're hoping, in the very near future, we'll start to have a native Android client for Mifos X. So I'll let Ishan and Nayan take the floor now, and then Ishan, if you need to share your screen, do let me know. So. And Ishan, you can give a more proper introduction and background on yourself since you're on the call today. So. And I think you're unmuted now, Ishan, so your microphone should be working. So I don't think you've muted yourself. So. Oh, Ishan, were you trying to talk? Nayan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Till
Yeah.
just I want to give a bit of a background what we're trying to do.
Okay.
See, the main the purpose of building a handheld device is the field officer or a loan officer can carry it and do the transaction on a real time. He need not really collect the data in a paper and come back to the branch office or a physical office and do again data entry. To reduce that overhead, we're trying to build a app on a handheld device. That is one thing, and along with that, we're trying to address can we solve another problem? That is wherever we have a very poor not quality internet, can we use this handheld device as an offline store? So in the last meeting, with Satya and Ishan, we were talking about adding the offline capabilities to the handheld device itself. So I'm just going to share one document. Basically, this has a couple of years back, we had built an offline solution for Mifos, but since as Ed was mentioning about since Mifos didn't had a proper API and all, we had a very difficult time to build any new client on top of Mifos backend. But that is not the case with Mifos X. It is purely a clean API driven architecture. So, but we're trying to understand the basically the learnings what we learned during building an offline solution for Mifos. We're trying to understand what are the challenges the field officer may encounter, and we we referred this document to to derive a user interface for even for the mobile app. So basically, where a field officer can prefetch the data. For example, it is a consciously going offline. So assume that a loan officer assume that in MF5 where only branch has the internet, but field officer can't come daily to the branch office. So basically, he will be in the field for another 5 days. So he can prefetch all his related data to the handheld device, and he can go to the field for 5 days, and he can do all his disbursement and collection and enter all the data. Once he comes back to the city or a branch where he has the internet, he can upload all his data. So to fulfill that kind of workflow, we are trying to understand what kind of local data model we need in the handheld device to store all these data, and what will be the user interface. And one more, I mean, like, no, yeah, I mean, there are like two more challenges. One is, I mean, right now, Mifos X backend doesn't have like no capabilities to like no understand if there are like no two duplicate requests are made for the same thing. For example, a user like no a loan officer collects a payment and it gets stored in offline, and because of some like in a rare case, I mean, like no, if offline solution try to like no make a request for the same data twice, server will accept it. So there were like some discussion like no introducing a universal unique ID, and apart from that, we don't have a like we have an authorization for each and every action, but we don't have a data scoping. I mean, we have a data scoping that is at only office levels. For example, we have a loan officer. We want to define a data scoping only for his client, like no, he can view only his clients or his centers. That kind of data scoping we don't have it have in the backend. So those are the two things, I mean, like no, we need to address in the backend side. And this was like pretty much what we discussed.
Okay, thanks, Nayan. And I think Ishan, he got the emulator to show what he's been working on his machine, but his microphone's not working now, so he's just troubleshooting that. So while Ishan is troubleshooting that, were there any questions anybody in the audience had around what Nayan just shared, or also, you know, just any questions you all would like to ask in general, as we do have a number of the, you know, core and experienced Mifos X developers on the call today. So.
I think Marcus had some of the like no thoughts about like no alternative for the like no UID. So I mean, if Marcus is like, no, want to discuss.
Yeah, that's right. So I offered two possible solutions instead of using a new UID. And as I listened to the description of your use case, I maybe think the second one would be the better. So if you really would, if we were able to offer something like a batching and just get all the information in one call, then we could pick out if it's a duplicate or it's not a duplicate. The UID, as I wrote down there, had some harsh bits on it, just like making aware that all users do not share some unique ID generation. So maybe it's possible that you get the same UID, but I still think offering something like an external ID would help also for the future, right?
Yeah, Marcus. I mean, like, no, I agree with your point. I mean, like, no, because the second solution is better, like, in other ways also, like, no, because if you go into adding UID, I mean, like, no, we end up altering all the, like, no, API endpoints and there's, like, no, contract definitions. So it is a lot of work, and then again, whoever is using, I mean, for them also it is a bit pain to, like, no, update their clients. And
yeah.
And the bulk, I mean. Technically, I don't know how much value it adds, but I mean, like, it's going to be a little bit faster also in terms of performance. I mean, like, rather than making, I mean, for example, somebody comes after a week, I mean, probably, like, no, the client has to make several, like, no, tens or hundreds of requests to, like, no, sync all the data. But what you are proposing, like, in one shot, like, no, the example what you had given about Facebook API, I think that is a pretty good solution.
Yeah, and it also offers us the possibility to use some internal features like bulk inserting if we see that there are some inserts for a specific table which we can then shut out as a batch, or also have everything in one transaction, right? So we do not need to reconnect the backend, say the database all the time, and just having some lack of JDBC overhead all the time.
Yes, Marcus. I mean, like I think like probably like Pramod or Vishwas will be the like right person to like make a call.
Yeah. So that's only my 2 bits to it, right?
Pramod, did you have anything to add right now? Because Vishwas, he'll be back online in the next, I think, 12 to 24 hours. But did you have any thoughts on this right now, Pramod? So. Oh, and you might still be muted, Pramod, if you were trying to talk. So.
I had it's bulk inserting instead of buck inserting, but it's okay. I also like to insert bugs.
Okay, sorry, yeah, no, I was confused, but I'll let you can edit that document, Marcus, so you should be able to edit it. So.
Just a second, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks, Pramod.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Oh, and you are audible now, Ishan. So.
Okay. I have the emulator running on my screen, so just in case you could give me access so I can show the demo of the app that has been done so far.
Yeah, let me pass the presentation mode over to you, Ishan. Okay.
So is the emulator visible now?
Yeah, I now see that. I think we'll see if others see it too. So. Can others see Ishan's screen now?
Okay, so
okay.
What we have here is a okay. So right now we are just connecting to the default tenant, and the username and password for this is Mifos and password. So when you click on login, so it will connect to the default API that has been there for a long time. So you get a message, welcome, and then there's the username. So on the main screen right now, what we are going to get is the list of clients for this particular user. It's a bit slow on the emulator, but it runs very fast on the phone. Okay, so here we have the list of the clients. We get probably 200 clients starting from 0 to 199, as I haven't set any limits or the offset explicitly. And you can just hold onto the client and you'll see the client ID popping up. So you can try and see the client IDs of any of these. And if you want to have a look at the details of any of the clients, just click on that client, and the client's info is going to probably have an image placeholder, and below you'll see the list of all the loan products that have been issued to the client or that the client has taken up. And when you go back, you can also browse the list of the centers. So these are the list of the centers that this particular user has access to. So there's not much of the functionality as far as concerned with the centers. And then there's one more thing that we have right now. You can search a client by its name. So I'll try and type a name, let's say Kumar, and I'll do a search here. So it'll fetch all the clients that have Kumar in their name, and you can probably select any of the ones that you want to see the details of. So let's say you want to see Sandhya Kumari, and you just click there, and you get the details. Pretty much it on the functionality that has been done so far. Satya had refactored the app and it was looking good until yesterday, but there was some problem with a few fragments. So I switched back to the old code, and so it looks a bit shabby right now. But by the end of this week, we'll probably be having a nice version, and a few more functions will be added, like the person will be able to make payments for the loan accounts, and a deeper search integration is going to be done. And rest what Satya is doing, he can probably tell you. So that'll be all from my side for today.
Well, thanks, Ishan. It's nice to see this coming together so quickly, and I'm really excited that we'll finally have a working Android field officer client available to the community, as this is a very important project, and you'll have a huge impact on our user base in leading the work on this. And then just for Nayan, you or Ishan could share more details, like around which versions of Android this is being targeted towards, and like what screen sizes we're optimizing as the minimum for. Do you want to share a few more details about that?
Yep. Yeah, sure. So I'm using the backwards compatibility library available for Android. So this app will most probably be running on any versions of Android that have Android version 8 and above. So right now we are running API level 19, and the app is compatible to API level 8 and above. So we will cover almost 90% of the devices that are floating worldwide. And as far as the screen sizes are concerned, right now we are just designing it for one screen size, and we probably feel once we have a good amount of functionality in hand, we'll be optimizing the app for the use on tablets, where we have more real estate on the screen, so we can probably show some good amount of data.
And what is which version of Android does API level 8 correspond to, Ishan? Do you know off the top of your head? Like, is it 2 dot, like which?
Should be, it should be Gingerbread.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And then are you still using Deanna's like mock-up sort of as a rough guide for some of the design and layout of the pages too?
For most of the roadmap that we are deciding along with the Binni, Vishwas, Nayan, and Satya, we are just consulting the Mifos X mockups that we got from you, and also we are referring the Zoom client that Vishwas has done.
Which font was that, Ishan?
The Zoom client. I'll just quickly.
The link I just now had shared, right?
So link here. Okay.
Oh, that. Okay, the offline. Oh, the off. Okay.
Right. Ed, if we have time, I'm just wanted to discuss one more point with Marcus.
Yeah, we have. So we have plenty of time. I'll just see if there's any questions specifically anyone in the audience had around what Ishan just showed, and then I'll let you return to those questions you had for Marcus, Nayan. So.
Yeah, sure.
Were there any questions that people had for either Ishan or Nayan around Android app development?
Ed, this is Ashok here.
Yeah.
Are we going to give a print capability from this native Android app? Like in most of the fields, like they want to use print functionality and they can attach to any printer, like thermal printer, so that they can print the receipts, repayment receipts, and the receipts. Like in savings, they can print the savings deposits and withdrawals, and they can give it to them.
Nayan,
Right
Ishan has
now,
yeah. Sorry,
I don't
Ishan.
think it's.
Oh, go on,
Right
Ishan.
now, I don't think it's in the roadmap, but it will be a very nice idea to have such kind of a feature. I don't know if it's feasible for us to have it in the app because I actually don't know the actual uses of the field officer. So as and when I get to know about the use cases in a deeper manner, so we can probably think about this as well.
Okay, thanks. I think Vinny will be sharing more details on like use cases because field officer definitely they need a print capability so that they can give receipts like when they visit the field, so that clients can have a receipts in hand.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if there are no other specific.
I have a question.
Oh yeah. Go on, Kaha.
I want to know why haven't you considered to build mobile web client instead of Android version 18, which is not compatible, and you have to write new one for iOS. It will be supported.
So I'll sort of handle that one, and then Nayan could possibly respond too. So Kaha, we might also be, one of our other interns, they might also take up work of, just repackaging our existing Angular community app to be a cross-platform app, that works over the Cordova framework that could then work cross-platform on any mobile device. And so that's, another side project that might get taken up. But since, Android is the dominant operating system for most of our user base, that has field officers with smartphones and other handheld devices, we've chosen to optimize or at least focus there initially, both in terms of the ease and quickness of development, as well as the ability to leverage, the native features there. But the work involved in extending the existing Angular community app to a cross-platform app shouldn't be that substantial, and we do want that as another option, especially for those users who are using platforms like iOS. So, Nayan, I'll let
Thank you for
respond. Okay, Nayan, did you want to go back to your discussion with Marcus?
Yeah, yes, sir. Marcus, I mean, I have a specific question for you. See, right now in the platform, I mean, we have a very appropriate way to define authorization for each and every action. We have a proper maker checker implemented in the a platform. But what we we don't have is a full data scoping based on the login user. So right now what we have is data scoping is based on the login user's branch. I mean, if a login user belongs to a branch, he can see the entire branch data, and if that branch has any child branch or office, then he will be able to see it. So that is what we have in place. But what we don't have is, for example, we want to restrict the data scoping for a login user to only to his clients, or only to his portfolios. And okay, tomorrow we may add right now we don't have a user account for the clients, so client can't directly log in and see their accounts. But tomorrow, in future, we may add a feature to where the borrowers can log in. That time they should be able to see only their loans or saving accounts. Or we may give an access to the funders, where funders can see the portfolios which are funded through their funds. So, if you can, give your idea, maybe, you can take your own time, but if you can just put like if you can just define an appropriate way to handle it in the backend, that will be really great.
Okay, so what you're looking for is something like, is it more permission-based or should it be more data-driven based?
No, permissions we have already have I think full-fledged implementation, but it's about permission, we have a maker checker implemented, so every new action defined in the system, easily you can configure maker checker for that. But what I'm trying to say is, it is about the data scope. How the visibility of the data to the login user, whether he can see the entire branch data or he can see only his portfolios. And then later we may introduce different kinds of users. Now the user is basically the office staff, but tomorrow it can be the clients or borrowers of that institute, or
Okay,
it can be the
yeah, I understand what you're looking for. So let me think about it, and I send you something of a proposal for a solution, because as I said, maybe you could do it in two different ways, right? First of all, you could use some more data-driven authorization to say, okay, if you are a typical client without any other rights, in this case authorization information, you only see what you can see, and you can put some authorization information on top of it if you're a staff member. So that would be one solution where you could do it driven more on the authorization part, or you really could start working with some sophisticated relations. So I really need to think about that for a moment to find a decent solution which also will be performant, right? Because that's one other thing.
Yeah, sure, Marcus. Right now, what are the discussions we have happened? I can send you so you can get a better context of what.
Yeah, that would be cool. So just send me an email and I skip through your discussions, or send me the link to the task, and I could add some bits there.
Yeah, yes, I'll do that.
That's cool.
Okay, and then during Ishan's demo, Dianug, one of our other interns, he joined the call, so he's on now too. And then, were there any calls from anybody else? Any questions from anyone else on the call right now? Especially, from members of the FINA team. Did you have any questions just about development or Mifos X in general that any of the other developers could respond to?
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Kaha.
We at FINA team want to add some features to Mifos platform, like custom input fields for collaterals. Well, there are many kinds of collaterals like car or gold, ring, and everything like that. And when you are creating collateral type, you want to add input fields with when creating collateral, you have to describe which fields are required for this. So we want to add this feature, and we want to know where in Mifos X platform in Java code, where is the code in which we can change things or set it to take more parameters, and also add new tables to save this data.
Nayan, did you want to take that one or promote?
Sorry, can you just come again?
Yeah, so I think just to sort of summarize, like Kaha and the FINA team, they're working on expanding, the input fields that can be captured for collateral because they need to track the value of items like cars, gold, etc. So they were wondering when you're creating the, collateral type, they need to add some more description fields and other items. So they were wondering where in the Java code is this they could edit it, and then where would they add new tables to save this data?
कहाँ लिखूं?
This is Ashok here. We can think of using data tables, and right now we can attach data tables to clients and centers, groups, even loans. So we can look into that. I have not seen this collateral part, but I think we can still extend the data table to attached to collateral as well. If they are not, if just they want to capture the data like how we capture additional details for client using data table, if they are looking for similar kind of thing, then definitely we can reuse the data tables.
Hello. The idea was initially to just add a column, but then we saw that it's not a proper solution. Probably we will consider adding an additional table, and because the types of this may be different, so to capture various additional fields in various cases, we'll probably consider adding the table, and then let's say by type. Yeah.
Alexander, is it? Are you trying to build any business logic around?
Okay, I see. And the proposal is not to try to agree on something right now, but just we'll probably come in with such a proposal or design later.
Okay. Did you look into the data tables and like we have added a lot of things there. So if you still think that okay that doesn't work for you, then we can think of enhancing data tables so that it meets your requirement. If even that doesn't meet your requirement, then if you're trying to add any business logic around the data which you capture, then definitely we have to add a different table specifically for collateral.
I also would say if you're really thinking about adding something and you're not really sure how much you will be adding, I think the data table approach would be the right one. And if you're really thinking about having some special business logic maybe there in the future, I saw that there's also a request for having a rule engines running within it, so you could create some rules around it and use the rules for your business logic, right?
Well, we'll definitely look into it and evaluate the data tables and rule engines and approaches. Thank you very much for sharing with us your vision.
Okay, Alexander, if you think that okay, if the data what we are capturing right now it is not sufficient, and if you want to attach to a collateral, then definitely we can discuss and how to we can provide some guidance on how to attach data tables to collateral as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and Alex, Kaha, perhaps next week we could try and get a call scheduled, with everybody from your team just to do more of a bit of the technical onboarding so we can, show you where the data tables are and how you work with them, and we can also walk through, what our procedures and protocols are for pushing code back into the platform through GitHub and whatnot. So I think it'd be easiest just to get your team all in one call and then pass as much of that technical onboarding as we can. Okay. Yeah, and then Marcus, I think Benny is going to be trying to scope out soon more of, what we might like to do on the business rules engine front. So I'll make sure, if you're available, that you can participate in any discussions or add any insights you have there. So.
For sure.
Okay. Well, thanks, everyone, for joining the call today. It's good to have the many new faces on and to have active discussion happening. And thank you to Ishan for, giving a preview of what he's already been working on even before the summer of code projects are formally starting up. And thank you to Dianuge and Oleg, the other interns who are on the call. And we're looking forward to working with you for the summer. And so we'll have our next developer call in 2 weeks' time, and then in 1 week we'll have our regular user meetup that we have. And just to note, also that we're making updates and optimizations to how we're tracking everything in Jira. So we'll have more of our actual product backlog, visualized and better clarity into what's coming up in the future releases and whatnot. So that's ongoing. So. Okay, well, we'll wrap up, and thank you everybody for joining once again. Have a good rest of your evening, afternoon, or day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one, guys.
Take care, Marcus. Bye-bye.